Sorry, just getting my camera at the right angle. Hello, everyone. Happy Virtual Collage Jam ahead of Valentine's Day with a theme of Love Will Save the Day, because nothing better. And love is a good thing to save days. So, I hope you're staying warm. If you're in the GTA or Southern Ontario, you know what I mean. I think it was Saturday. Kim had a workshop at the Japanese paper place, and when we were getting ready to leave, it was still minus 24 degrees. um, Fortunately, Gearhead Kim has a little, like, very lightweight, portable, powerful battery that we can attach to our car battery to give it a little help on days like that. And so we got started, which is good because there's no way it was going to start otherwise. Yeah, it's been frosty, although today it's significantly warmer. I saw it's like in the single digits below zero, so that's not bad at all. So yeah, hope you're staying warm. So let's see what else to say. So as usual with virtual, if you're new to Virtual Collage Jam, there is an optional theme every time we do it. This time it is Love Will Save the Day, but that is because Valentine's Day is coming up on Saturday. But if perchance you are not interested in working with that theme or whatever the theme is, you can do whatever you like, really. Lots of people work on creative projects, but not necessarily collage. Some of our collage artists work on, excuse me, on collage, but not the theme. So the theme is there if it suits you. So feel free to do something else. If we're just hanging out and making stuff together, that is the best part, right? So I'm going to switch my camera to the overhead and get started. I haven't got a plan. Are you surprised? No, I don't think you are. So my plan is, so as far as not having a plan, I have I have my red drawer with red and reddish things in it. So that is what I will be working from. It'll give me a heads up because Valentine's tends to use red and pink a lot, obviously. And hello, Annie. Hello, Philippa. Nice to have you along. And Annie says she's going to be working with the Febrelage prompt heart. Annie, is that for today, or is it? Are you looking ahead? Are you stealing the prompt from the 14th? Philippa says, I don't think that the theme is very appropriate. Right, yeah, I thought you might be, Annie, so yeah. Yeah, yes, I know what you're saying, Philippa, but I am a big believer in love, and that will never change. But yes, there are lots of things that we'll need to that we need to change to save the day properly, right? But love is a good place to start, so I'm going to work with that. Oh, I just can't read. Are we surprised? Sorry, Philippa. Oh my goodness. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, you did. I just misread it. So yeah. So I'm glad you like it. And if whether or not you're going to work with it, I'm glad you think it's appropriate. So right? Yeah. Okay. So I'll switch to my overhead camera and get this party started. And Nellie, hey Nellie, how are you? Nice to have you here. Are you still in Europe? Are you in GTA? You're always in a different place. And maybe I should ask, are you near collage materials? That's even more important than geographical location, right? If you've got scissors and paper, Jordan, right? Yeah. If you've got scissors and paper and glue, you could be anywhere, right? So, all right, we're going to go black for a minute until I switch over to the overhead. So, back in a moment. All right, get it in the overhead bracket here. And let me get it approximately somewhat lined up on my work surface. There we go. It's looking a little bit dark. That I think it's. I have a window that's wide open, not like not to the air, just to the light, and I think it's overcompensating. I'm gonna I'm gonna pin my hair back so I can see what I'm doing, and so Annie is going to be working on on Februage Heart, which is lots of overlap with our theme. Philippa, do you have a particular? Are you just chilling? No pun intended. Are you just hanging out, or are you going to work on something? Philippa says she's a bit okay. So yeah, I didn't even see that. Philippa says she's a bit under the weather, so just going to watch and listen. Awesome. Glad to have you with us. I hope that you feel much better soon, Philippa. Sending you healing vibes. And Nellie says, too much collage material. Nellie, I'm not sure there's such a thing. If you saw this place, oh my goodness. And my studio is going nuts today. Of late is what I mean. Like right now, because I'm working on artist project stuff. But so I have lots of collage materials in the studio. I have a ton more downstairs. So, so lots going on. Oh, and one thing I should mention while I remember it is starting in March, and I should check the day. Let me check my calendar. I am going to be leading 2-hour collage sessions on the first Tuesday of every month for 3 months at the Union Hotel downtown, the place that has my collage works in the rooms, in the suites. And so the first day is going to be March 3rd, and it's going to be between 6 and 8 p.m. So if you're already downtown, that's awesome, right? But if you're where I am, or where like if you're out of town, like sort of in the periphery, getting right downtown at rush hour, the only way I think it could work sanely is to go like for lunch and then do something and then head to that afterwards. But if you are in Toronto or find yourself there, it'd be lovely to have you there. So we do it in the lobby, and there's a really nice they have a really nice cafe in their lobby, so you can get snacks and drinks, and there's this large table that we can fit around maybe 12 chairs around, and everyone works on it like a big square table, and it's really fun. So and it's only 2 hours. I forget exactly how much it costs, but if you go on the Union Hotel website, it may not be quite up yet, but it should be up soon. And yeah, it's kind of fun. So, and if you can't make one, you could come to another one or whatever. So, all right. But quite apart from all of that, it's time to get saving the day with love, I think. So I'm just pulling out any kind of things out of my red drawer that look, oh yeah, that's really not convincing, is it? I'm going to pull down the blind and maybe get better color. Let's try it this way. Maybe this will work better. That's a lot better. All right. I generally speaking, excuse me. Generally speaking, I love to have natural light. So, but it's messing this up. So we'll give that a miss this time. Oh, I've just got so many cool red things, guys. I don't know how I'm gonna get them all in. The answer is I'm not gonna get them all in, and that's fine. Ooh, that's a nice. That's got some nice juicy reds and plums in it. Some plums. All right. I think what I'll do is I'm going to start by making a sort of red background out of a whole bunch of different kinds of red, and then I'm going to cut a heart out of it, and we'll see where it goes from there. So just glue it down to a conventional piece of paper, and so that's a nice way to sort of warm up because it's low stakes. So yeah, just get started with that, I think. And cut and tear and mix them up. Oops, sorry. And I'm going to need a glue sheet. Okay, good. Go. And there was this piece. Okay. It seems I've been very busy with professional activities. And what do you mean by that, Kat? I mean, when I say that, I mean things that aren't making art per se, but are dealing with peripheral stuff. So, like, I think I consider teaching an art activity. I'm doing this, which is an art activity, but a professional activity, I mean. But yesterday I finished an interview, a written interview, answering questions for the Halliburton School of the Arts, because as you probably remember, I did that collage that's going to be on their cover this year. And so they wanted, they're going to, I think in their newsletter, they're going to have something about me. So they sent me a bunch of questions to answer. So yesterday, well, actually, I started on them a few days ago, finished them last night, answering a bunch of questions about my process and about my work, etc. So that was fun and interesting. And well, it feels like a lot that I've been doing that way. On Saturday. No, Wednesday. Like in a couple of days, I'm going to be at Cawthra Park Secondary School, working with grade 10s on a project for In Situ, which is coming up again soon. This year's In Situ is, I think it's the last weekend of February, so it's coming up very soon. Or the first weekend in March. I think it might be the first weekend in March, sorry. Let me look at my calendar so I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it is March 5th to 7th. So that's Thursday through Saturday. And I'm not sure whether, I don't think they're doing Sunday. I think Sunday is Teardown Day. So I'm helping students. They're working on a project using old shoes and sort of making art out of them. And so they'll be able to make them either wearable or not. So one option when you go to In Situ will be to rent a pair of shoes. And if you can find a pair that fit and the artist dedicated their shoes to be worn, so that'll be kind of fun. What else? I sent in an application for an art show related to Pride called Nuit Rose, with some sort of trans figures. So we'll see whether they get accepted. And there was something else too. Anyway, it's been busy. Let's just put it that way. But busy, but also like super exciting, right? It's so it's great to have irons in the fire and have stuff out into the world. They're not all going to work out, but the more stuff you send out, the more likelihood something will stick, right? So. For the longest time, I really didn't send out very many applications for opportunities because I found it hard work, and I also I really struggled to believe in my work enough to do that. And now somehow I've just got over it. It's like, yeah, they can pick it or not, right? But a bunch of the opportunities are things I would love a chance to try if I get selected. So, and so, yeah, I'm sending more out. And on that note, have any of you guys got work in? Are you recently submitted, or about to submit work to any juried shows, any opportunities for exhibitions or opportunities like residencies or any stuff like that? Let us know in the comments, and I will check them in a few minutes. You certainly don't have to, but just curious if any of you do. All right. another one of these pieces in, I think. And maybe a couple more on this side. I'll go on that side, I think. Oh, maybe over here? Yep. All right. Oh, and another thing, both Kim and I will be, I think I've mentioned this before, the main opportunity I did those sort of trans figures for was a show that will be opening at Redhead Gallery in early March, I think so. I have my calendar is so jammed these days. Yeah, so it should be opening on the 4th of March, and both Kim and I will have a piece in it, and so the opening, the actual celebration opening, is on the 7th of March, which is a Saturday. There are going to be artist talks on the 21st, so yeah, so that's exciting too. It is a very busy time for both Kim and I, and yeah, so we're kind of excited that it is so busy. Kim's health has been so much better of late since she came back from Korea. She's so much more herself and strong, so she's doing more art, doing more opportunities. So what's not to love, right? So it's it's beautiful to see after her being so tapped out, so weak and easily exhausted for so many years. So yeah. All right, I will check on comments after I get one or two more pieces glued down. I think we're getting towards enough of this that I could cut a heart out of it. Ooh, that's kind of fun. That piece has a tiny little shot of green in it, and the green just zings, doesn't it? I might have to do that again. Or maybe it's a tiny little shot of something else. Maybe that's it. Like yellow, right? That's probably better. Better than doing the same again is doing something a little different that has some of the same impact. And one more over here, I think. All right, that's enough to get a heart cut out of, I think. Let's see what you guys are saying before I go further. Hey, Rebecca. I know you've been with us forever, but I'm just seeing your comment. So hello, welcome along. Awesome. And just hanging out too. Betty. Hey, Betty. Nice to have you along. It's been a long time since Thursday, right? So that's great. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, red is arguably my favorite color, regardless of its appropriateness for Valentine's. So but it really is great for Valentine's too, right? So yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying ripping in with abandon. All right, I should stop and I'll cut a heart. I'm gonna have to refine my heart after it's cut out, I think. But first things first, get a heart cut and then see where we go. Well, it is a little lopsided, but that's actually good, I think. So Kim gave me a bunch of, she was trying to cull down a bunch of her overwhelming number of gel plate prints. So I stole a bunch of the ones she was pitching. And this one with this, it's a sort of an imperfect transfer of a woman's face from a magazine in this very sort of moody black and red. So I thought, ooh, that looks like a good thing to put a heart out of, right? So I'm not sure that these are quite the right dialogue, but I do like that. So that's kind of fun too, right? Like so not sure. Have to give that some thought. I don't know. I'm not sure what makes me think I could cut a heart with scissors. I'm such a knife person. Not sure why I started this, but in for a penny, in for a pound. I'm going to need to refine this one, that's for sure. Well, wonky is sometimes better. So, but I do want a little more notch in the between the rounded top pieces. That's funny. What it's out of? It's gone quiet. It's gone quiet because I was really liking what I was seeing here out of the byproduct. So I'm thinking about that. Whether that might be, I just like that, right? Get a little glimpse of her through it, and maybe that's what we've got going on for this one. All right, that is my. I've set an alarm because I have to watch drinking caffeine too late in the day. I've got a full cup of coffee here, and that's my 2:30 caffeine alarm. Like don't drink it much later than now, so I better bottoms up, eh? I'm not sure what it is, but whether it's getting older or estrogen or both, but my sleeping through the night is not what it used to be. And I know lots of people suffer from that, but I've been blessed not to, for the most part. I do wake up at 5 a lot now, and sort of am fitful ever after that. And it's like, this isn't fair. It's like, well, what did you expect? I mean, come on, life is not. But I sort of regarded it as a birthright for a long time, which was great. But now not so much. Yeah, I'm liking aspects of this. Yeah, definitely like it with that little snippet of image there. It speaks to both the red and the black. So yeah, I think it needs to be through her, or seeing her through that gap. So all right. So now I'm just looking for other, like, this to me is sort of the sweeter side, and then this is a little more quite literally noir. Not noir, but it's a little less saccharine, or a little less, and I shouldn't say that. That's damning. I actually do like this kind of stuff too. So it's not that I dislike this. I'm just currently intrigued with that one. So I'm just looking for I'm looking for little bits of other things that have a little surprise and edge to them. I like this visually, but I'm not sure that there's much narrative to it, but it's kind of fun. Right. There are often times when I cut something out like this sign carefully, and then I end up liking the flip side better. And in this case, the flip side is white, right? But you can tell it's like a three-dimensional sign, and depending on where you put it, you can even sort of see that that's kind of stylized longhead steer, longhead cattle head. but you don't know what it says, and so it's more flexible in terms of its narrative potential. So maybe that's a good thing in this case, I think. So I'm just looking for a position that kind of might be interesting. And still excuse me, and still read reasonably well as what it is. I kind of feel like maybe it needs to be down here, although I like these things coming up through that bottom, so I'll have to think about that. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to live on the edge, and I'm going to glue at least some of this down already, because having too many things moving around and too many options is overwhelming me a little bit. So in that case, I'm going to commit to a couple of things, and then the rest of it will have to work with what's there. So yeah. Sometimes the magic doesn't work. Oh, it's because I've got it crooked. That's the problem. All right, try again. And I'll glue this one down at the bottom. Not quite the bottom, but it's sort of a red piece that sort of holds some of the bottom and allows some of this print to show through. I'm enjoying the edges and these various overlapping gray shapes. And then this, excuse me, this may or may not find its way into this piece. I'm going to now have a drink of water by the sounds of it. But what I'm going to do, what I was going to say, tongue-in-cheek aside, was set this aside and come back to it in a few minutes and come back to this heart and see what happens to it next. So I'll, excuse me, I'll check in with your comments in a few minutes and see where we're at. That's interesting. All right. Oops. All right. So I don't know why, but when I was looking at this piece, I saw that there was a little tear in it, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. I was going to trim to take it out, and then I thought, no, it's kind of interesting. I'm going to glue this all down the way it is, but with these little sort of tears all around the periphery. That's why this one was a mistake, but I'll do my best to put it back together. I think somehow that's going to be interesting. So, and who knows how well this is going to go back in the way it's supposed to be, but if I'm aiming to have the sort of torn feeling, I shouldn't worry about it too much, right? Right. So. All right, and then this is going to go on what? We'll never know, because Kat still hasn't made up her mind. Or do I want it actually on that side? Maybe I do. Put this straight. All right, I'll check in with your comments. And Nellie says, I wanted to work, but I'm so enjoying watching you think and create. Okay, well, that's, of course, Nellie, you're welcome, but I would encourage you to still, if you can play along too, I don't think it's I don't even know where I'm going with this, but if that is your genuine preference, that's totally fine, but feel free to make something as well. Time for another glue stick. I've been going through them at a great rate these days, which means I'm having too much fun, so that's always good. I'm curious. So here's something I'd be curious about what you guys find in your artistic practice. So I'm obviously ramping up for the artist project, and I've noticed that I've done like 5 or 6 day collages, and I know that the first few are unlikely, let's just put it that way, unlikely to be where I want them to be. They're sort of me getting back to sort of getting back in the swing of things. And of course, sometimes something just comes out right? But I had like 4 of them done, and I was looking at them and thinking, all right, but I don't feel like I'm hitting stride yet. I'm warming up. And it's only the most recent one that I've kind of felt like it's starting to cook, and I'm starting to be interested and excited by where it's going. And so I'm curious with you guys, if you do you take a while to get going? I think we all do. And I think it like even like I could say it takes me a while to get going on something like this Virtual Collage Jam. It starts cool and then it starts warming up. But just how long does it take you if you're working on a few pieces or you're working more intensively? How long does it take you to sort of hit stride, I guess? And it's I think hitting stride, we can all define it differently. So, but hitting stride enough that you feel you're like, okay, I'm in a good place now, and because it always takes me a while, and then I don't want to stop, right? Because it's like, oh, it's really starting to cook now. I don't want to stop. For instance, when I'm getting prepared for the artist project, I always have to, at a certain point, stop collaging and start doing the back end, like doing the digital work on them and so on. And sometimes it's a letdown, right? Because it's just like, oh, I'm really it's starting to happen. It's starting to really cook. I feel if I just kept going, I'd have some even better stuff. But so it's taken me, there are 5 decollages over there. I'm working on the 6th, and the 6th one is the one that I kind of feel like might be like, I don't want to jinx it, but it might be good. Might be like, okay, yeah, that's got me excited. And I also can't tell necessarily in the moment whether it's, sometimes you can be excited about a piece and then a week later you look at it and think, yeah, I think it's not quite as good as I thought. And vice versa can happen too, right? You have a piece where you did it, you look at it, you think, yeah, it's all right. But then like a week later, you look at it and think, actually it's growing on me. Oh, yeah. See, I was talking. I meant to put a red piece underneath underneath this white torn edge, like underneath it. So I think it's too late. Oh, maybe not. The only reason this is lifting is the glue hasn't dried, and it's also glued to paint, which is often harder to stick to. So it looks like the collage gods are being nice to me. So. All right, so I was teaching a private lesson this morning, and and so while my student was working, I was working too, and yeah, I thought, oh wait, I want to sneak something under there, but it was so glued down. I like, there's no lifting that. That's the opportunity is gone. So fortunately, this one is more forgiving. There's something, there's kind of something interesting about, I think anyway, about sort of hearts and sweet colors that have some sort of distressing or some messiness or some edginess. I think that's kind of an interesting place for things to be at. So. I wonder, just thinking about that, I was thinking, oh, I wonder if I have any sandpaper to distress the edges. I mean, I know I do downstairs in the workshop, but I just need it at hand. So. All right. Not there, but I have an idea. And I think it's not far away, and that is a nail file. I'm going to try that. And that's just in the bathroom, so not far away. So I'll be back in just a flash. All right, it's not there. I think it may still be on my desk. There we go. All right, it's even in the right color scheme. Look at that. It's like a Valentine's Day nail file. All right. I have to figure out where I'm going to do it that it will. Yeah, with sandpaper, you can get it to conform to your finger, but let's just see whether I can make this work regardless. I just bought these nail files. Of course, Kim's going to be like, what happened to our new nail files? What did you do to them? Yeah, I like that a lot better. That's kind of feels more what I'm like. This is distress. This is sort of messier paint. This is torn. We got sort of like tears, but sort of kind of a cracked feeling. It's kind of like it's kind of like love that has stood the test of time kind of thing. It's it's not shiny and new anymore, but it's still strong. So I like that. That's kind of fun. And so on that same idea, I'm just scratching this this edge, paper edge, a little bit to use a different kind of sort of distressing feeling rather than this crisp cut. Just have it a little rougher. That piece really needs to be glued down more, doesn't it? You're right. Okay. So that actually leads me to something. This is something that that is useful to think of, I think. So it started with the cracks and then this sort of rough paint, the pink. And I think those are what gave me the idea for the sandpaper. And so what I'm doing here, and this I think is worth noting, is I'm coming up with several different ways of distressing that aren't the same, but still have some of that same roughening feeling. So like I could sand the edges of everything, right? And then it's all been treated with the same approach. Whereas once I started noticing them, I was thinking, okay, what is another way of distressing that will look different, right? So that looks different from that, from that, from this, right? So, but they all have a sort of uh, uh, they make it feel raw or more less pretty, more edgy, or more distressing, I guess is the right word. Not distressing like, oh my God, distressing like distressed surfaces. Yeah, I'm not trying to traumatize anyone. Not that kind of distressing. Yep, there's another piece that really, I think they come up easily because, you know, I'm a big fan of glue sticks. The one thing they don't do so well on, I found, is acrylic papers painted with acrylic paint. Because it's plastic, the glue doesn't absorb into it, so it often cracks off. Or it's harder, it won't stay as well. So something to be aware of. It often stays well enough, but it's not as robust as paper on paper. So yeah, it's fun because these pinks are talking to the red. So yeah, I'm going to glue that down. And then I think I'll go back to my other piece after I check out your comments. I also, I like that this piece is, it's not perfectly symmetrical, but it has a sort of a centered symmetrical feeling, whereas the other piece that I'm working on is more asymmetrical. So I think that's also kind of cool. I was thinking that having this sort of strip going across feels a bit like a bandage or something. I just don't know whether it obscures more than I want it to or not. It could go maybe up to the heart, but not over the heart. Maybe that's interesting. Could go diagonally. That's kind of fun. Like it comes. Yeah, anyway. See, I kind of feel like with this far, I sort of like it was cooking, and now I'm not sure of this thing. So it's a good time to switch it up and come back at it. So I think that's a good start. I think it's actually well along. I don't know what else. Like there are some thoughts, and what I maybe what I'll do before I set it aside is, without expecting them to finish it, I'll just think of a couple of thoughts. So in other words, what I'm doing now is I am planting seeds I'm thinking about it intentionally, but then I'm not going to act on any of them until later. So one thought is some kind of additional smaller heart over top of the center area. Like the first thought was like something white or off-white. And, I'm thinking, oh, that's kind of like a Valentine's. You could even put type in it or a message of love or something. And then part of me thinks, well, maybe too cutesy, but I don't know yet. I could, since I have space on my sheet, I could make it, instead of a square piece, squarish, it could be rectangular. So it could have another, excuse me, another band of something along the bottom. Like that could line up with that, or it could be something else down here. But then why would it be? Maybe it's still, like maybe it could be, if there's a reason to sort of feel this rising or emanating from something further down, like a balloon string or something, or darkness of some kind, or these aren't the pieces I'm planning on using per se. I'm just trying to see what just a drive-by feel for that. Although I kind of think that's stealing the show of the way the black functions here, so maybe not. So those are some thoughts, and none of those have felt like, oh yeah, that's it. So, which is fine. I'm just going to put that aside, check your comments, and then come back to this piece. So, let's see. Philippa says, I find that watching something like this video fires me up to create. Oh, Philippa, that makes me very happy. I'm glad. That's awesome. Don't have a problem starting, but continuing is another story. Oh, Philippa, if you had any idea how many unfinished starts I have, I mean, it's remarkable I finish anything. I have so many starts, and a lot of them come from Virtual Collage Jam, because an hour and a half is not usually enough for me unless I'm working really fast to finish them. And they often have merit, but then I've got other priorities, and so it ends up unfinished for in perpetuity or for a long time. So yeah, I hear you. And Andy says the heart on the black background is giving me moon landing vibes. Yeah, I totally see that. Let's um, yeah, because there's darkness and then we get sort of down to a surface, right? So yeah, that's fun. I love that. All right, so um, where's my knife so I can actually lift this out of here? So having this white shape read on this other white shape, it's been causing me a problem because I kind of like this position, except for that. So maybe taking this heart that got cut out of here and shifting it down and flipping it over, it can talk to the negative heart here um, without being too literal, maybe, and also sort of clearing some space to read the sign more easily. Um, and when I say read the sign, I don't mean like read what is on the sign, just to understand that understand its shape better, right? So there's actual reading, and then there's reading of visual material, and a sign can be both, right? In this case, it's the silhouette, so it's just reading the silhouette of the shape. So, and that said, I just had a thought, and that is, yeah, no, that seems like too much work. I was thinking to myself, I could cut these letters out so that on the backside it would read backwards and you'd see through it. And that sounds like a lot of work, and also it wouldn't all read properly, but that might be interesting because I'm not going to worry about all the little spaces in the middle in between of letters. But it might be interesting because there's the starkness of the white, but then adding some kind of detail that isn't just perfectly logical, because it's going to be backwards and it's not going to be it'll be showing this stuff through. All right, that's worth a try. I've just convinced myself, so that means I've set myself a little bit of a task. Classic. So Philippa, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, okay, great, I'm going to cut these out. That's going to take the rest of the jam. It's not going to get finished, but it somehow still feels worth it. So I'm going to do it anyway. This is a case where you want a very fresh blade. So now what I'll do is I will cut these out by hand, but I am using the ruler just to cut the top edges and the bottom edges of the letters so that they have that nice horizontal stress across, that it is the same line going across the tops of the capitals and along the bottoms of the letters. And now I'm really wishing that it was, that this sign was a bit bigger. I know I'm getting my head in the way. Sorry, guys. I have to see what I'm doing here. Do you ever sort of despair of yourself, things you decide to take on? I am a little bit with this. I mean, I'm loving it, but I'm also thinking, oh, you fool, you know, which that's kind of the nature of OCD kind of work, I think, is, oh my God, I can't believe that I feel compelled to do that. And well, so one good thing about it is it's going to feel loosey-goosey because they're so small. I can't make them look crisp. They're going to look wonky. So that's good, right? I'm also not going to even worry about they're actually called counters in when letters have negative spaces that would fall out when you cut them out, like the hole in the R and the hole in the A, or in an O. I'm not going to worry about those. I'm just going to cut out the external shape of the letter and not even pay any attention to those. They're going to be backwards anyway, and they'll probably be legible, even if they're backwards, but they don't need to be any more slavish than I'm already making them to their originals, right? So, all right, somewhere on my desk under this chaos are my little tweezers. Right, so that's a little quick example of what one of the letters will look like. It's an R for sure, but it's backwards. And seems I missed a lot of it. So I'll fix that, but it's still going to be pretty choppy. If they were like 4 times this size, they might be more accurate, right? So, but they're not. So I keep flipping it over because it's actually easier to see where I might have not quite cut all the way around it. So that helps me find those areas. With a little more success anyway. With letters this small, it's inevitable I'm going to screw something up and something's going to come out that shouldn't come out. And I just have to make my peace with that. So what is that? It's less than a centimeter tall. This is when I really love straight letters like T's and E's and not so much S's and R's and O's. Because straight lines are a lot easier to cut, even if you're not using a ruler, than curves are. I think maybe I'll do what I think I'm doing a good enough job to cut them, and then I'll take a few out at a time so that I'm not endlessly switching tasks. Has anyone seen any good exhibitions lately? Kim and I always have a dual membership to the the AGO, but we hardly ever get down there, which is sad, but it's true. But has anyone seen good shows that they found inspiring lately? I think as far as the A goes, I'm also not going to worry about anything other than its sort of pyramidal perimeter. And that will also simplify things. I'm not going to worry about the part under the cross stroke either. So it'll just be like a V upside down. Even less like a V, more like a triangle with serifs. And that will also simplify things. There we go. I'm trying to think about the last time Kim and I went to an exhibition. It's been a while. That's really bad. When she was doing her gallery walk and talks, which I know she'd love to get back to doing, we got to see quite a few shows, and that was that was part of our motivation, was to see those shows, right? So yeah, it'd be nice to get to do one of those. I don't know whether this year. It'd be nice this year or maybe next. If not this year, certainly next year. I can't tell what I've cut. Okay, so still that right there. And that is almost all of it. Okay. So, oh good, another R with all its tiny little curves. The super tiny ones, I don't even worry about making them curved. I just cut them straight. Some of these shapes are so small, I'm not really even pulling the knife. I'm just like sticking it in and sticking it into the cutting mat far enough, like even not very far, like less than an eighth of an inch. It's long enough that the blade just cuts that short length without pulling it. So that's how small these some of these shapes are. They're not all like that, but quite a few are. Let's see how that E is coming along. Okay, I haven't done the two sides of the center one stroke yet. Get that done. Oh my goodness, G is next. It's even worse. And I'm no G whiz, that's for sure. I know, sorry. One has to get one's laughs where one can. All right, boy. All right, so that was good to do, but now I'm going to take some of them out, even though I'm not done yet, because now I want to see some progress. So rather than doing them all the way, I'm going to start pulling some of these out, finishing them up, and hopefully they'll come out intact, more or less, with a little additional coercion, of course. Oh, look at that. Yay, the T was just falling out. It didn't have too many little stuck bits. Largely because it was so straight, I think. There are always those little places where you didn't quite get it cut all the way through, and they're so annoying to try and coerce out without destroying it, right? It's usually corners where the knife didn't quite go all the way through, and it's one little paper fiber that's holding on for dear life, right? It just does not want to be severed. All right, I can tell this R needs a lot of help. It's got some problems. It's coming. That's nice. Thank you, R, for going going peacefully. All right. Oh, and the E is going peacefully too, looks like. Wow, there we go. Awesome. The G is a little more complicated. All right, so I'm not done yet because, but I just want to put it in place to see how it's, whether it's doing what I'm hoping, which is feel like type, but not be super legible. And I think it is, right? Because you could probably figure out what it says, especially once I've finished, but it's not the first thing that happens, right? So it's more about the shapes and less about reading Burgermaster and more about like American drive car culture sign kind of thing, rather than just like Burgermaster, right? So, and that's kind of fun. Now, I'm still not convinced that that has its place in this in this piece, but I can always just put it aside. So, all right. So I am going to put that aside. Bring this one back. I see we're almost at 3:30, so just take a last minute or two look at this, and then I'll wrap up, I guess. As I look at this, I'm not convinced it needs a ton more, so which may be fine. Well, if I don't think it needs more, that absolutely can be fine, right? Of course it is. Sometimes my lips say things that my brain hasn't vetted first. It's like, wait a minute, especially when I'm preoccupied with what I'm working on. That almost feels like it should be up there if it's going to be anywhere, kind of like a calendar strip or something. So I'm not sure that's going to be the case, but I'm going to cut it as a test. Possibly, right? So I'm now going to look for something that might go down here that might work, and with the understanding that it does. I don't. If I don't find it, it's fine. Oh, that's obviously 3:30, so get your act together, Cat. You know, I don't hate this piece if I were to lop it off like that, but I actually don't think it actually, I'm not convinced it's adding to it. It might just be grounding it just that little bit to have a little strip of that sort of pattern along the bottom. But I'm not convinced. So one other thought, and that is something like with the other piece, the sort of printmaking feeling of the edge, I really was enjoying because it's a gel plate print, these sort of distressed edges. So I'm going to just try it's actually yet another red, and it's yet another kind of distressing, so it might or might not be beneficial. So, and what I sort of feel like I'm finding is that no matter what I put down here, even if it works reasonably well, I'm not convinced it's better than just that. So I think this is where that one's going to stop. The other one, I have to finish cutting out the letters and then go from there. So there they are. And oh no, it's not even going down. I forgot. Probably Darwin Kim will get one of these as a little Valentine's gift. We're going out to a concert with some friends by a Korean band named The Rose, and that's going to be in Mississauga on Valentine, so that'll be fun. Let me just switch to the other setup to sign off. There we go. Oh, there you are. Hello. All right, so I'll just see any comments here. Hello, Holly. Nice to have you here. Sorry, I didn't see your comments before. And a lot more than just the start. Yeah. Holly says, I enjoy the way you narrate what you're doing, Kat. I always learn little tips along the way from you. Thank you for running these sessions. You're very welcome, Holly. I do try sometimes when I get absorbed in what I'm doing, I forget, but I do try to articulate it because I know it's useful for, especially if you want to see how another artist goes about it, what they're thinking about, what they're trying, what they're wondering about. Like as they're doing this, like what are they thinking when they're wondering about whether that should go in or not, so or whatever. So yeah, when I can, I do because I know that could be beneficial. So I'm glad you enjoyed it, found it useful. Okay, we are back in a fortnight, and I'm just gonna scan ahead. And so our next session is February 23rd. And on that day, Annie, you'll be happy to know we're going to be using the Febrelage prompt, which is teeth, I think. So, which is kind of a very specific, fun, interesting prompt. So we'll be playing with teeth, which will be fun. So Julianne, are you really here? Wow. That's so awesome, Julianne. So good to have you here. So Julianne says, thank you so much. Thank you much. It is indeed to hear your process. This is my second day of retirement. Congratulations, Juliana. That is such, I know it's like you're in a candy store now, right? So, and I am thrilled to be spending it with you and Collage. It makes my heart so happy that that you now have that time, and like you're going to be in major decompression for a while, but welcome, enjoy it, and it's going to be awesome. I just know it. You're going to be just like, how did I ever do that stuff? But it's Julianne's time now. So yeah. Mia, I didn't. Is this the first comment that you've? Hello, Kat, and all. I've loved listening to you while working to gluing some washi papers. Washi papers are always fun. on my substrates. Thank you. Sending love and hugs to both Kim and you. Thank you very much. Happy Valentine's Day to you too. And happy Valentine's Day to everyone. So thank you, Philippa. That's very sweet. Yeah, no, I think they both have different, but they both have merit. So I might even finish one of them. Famous last words, right? So, okay, Philippa, thanks. Take care. Bye bye. And thanks, Nellie, for joining us from Jordan. I hope you have a happy Valentine's Day too. Um, oh, yeah, this one started slow. There weren't very many comments at first. And I thought, did I get the promotion wrong? And then I thought, no, Rebecca's on the case. And then now they're all you guys here, so that you've made it so much nicer. So thanks, guys. And Holly says, have been loving the Februage posts in the Facebook group from everyone. Looking forward to seeing the teeth prompt next session. Yeah, it should be fun, right? So until we cut our teeth on some more collage in a couple of weeks, keep working away, and I'll see you in the Facebook group. And stay warm, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care, guys.